Hey guys, welcome to the Mr. Maple Show. I'm Matt. We've got another walkthrough Wednesday for you. This time we're in our 2-gallon XL house. There's some 3 gallons in here as well. Let's check it out.
Guys, you know that like button? Smash it. I'm Tim at Mr. Maple. Make sure you like, subscribe, and share, all that good stuff. And shop us on MrMaple.com. We do over 1,000 varieties of Japanese maples. So check us out at Mr. Maple.
Guys, we've been adding some great sizes to our website recently, and you've been catching those things. Guys have really been interested in those bigger sizes. So we thought we'd walk through our 2-gallon XL house, kind of showcase a little bit of our larger material right now. Now we do have some 10 gallons for pickup, but there's some excellent sizes we're shipping right now in 3 gallons and in 2 gallons.
Guys, right behind me, we've got Acer palmatum Red Emperor, Emperor 1. I mean, this is a classic red upright, holds its color well, leaves out 2 weeks later than other red uprights, giving a later, avoids a later threat of frost because of that. Great tree for high elevations, but also just holds its color so well throughout the season. It's extremely heat tolerant.
Guys, these are great sizes right now. Very close to 6 foot, even planted, so some excellent sizes. Classic bright red fall color. One of my favorite things about Emperor 1, it's heat tolerant, it's cold tolerant, but it leaves out super late, giving it some threat of frost avoidance. It really protects that tree from those late frosts. That fall color is impeccable. It is a cherry red to fire engine red fall color. One of the best Japanese maples you can be growing. When people call me and they say, hey, I'm interested in upright red, and they're in a very high heat zone like Dallas, Texas, I'll say, hey, have you considered Emperor 1? It's a great choice for your area.
Guys, over here we got the Mack truck of Japanese maples. We got some 3 gallons right here of Germaine's Gyration. This is one of the fastest growing green lace leaves on the market that has a weeping habit. And it twists and contorts too. So it's a really cool Japanese maple, a fun shape, and some really good fall colors of bold orange.
Guys, I'm not gonna lie, this is probably my favorite lace leaf. This one gives you the chance to have a massive tree, in a short span. So it's gonna look like a 100-year-old tree just in 10 years. Typically in 10 years, this one is 10 foot tall by 10 foot wide, making it one of the very fastest growing lace leaves. Now, Germaine's Gyration is also known by the name contorta because of that crazy contorting shape it gets in there. So you get some interesting branches. So even if you're not an expert pruner, this one's gonna look amazing with some really intricate arches going on within itself. And that fall color is great as well. I mean, you can get some golden yellows to oranges going on in this thing. It is a showstopper in every single season. Guys, it's also heat tolerant as all get out. So this one works great in sun up to zone 8.
Guys, Germaine's Gyration, one of my favorite Japanese maples. And then we go from a giant Japanese maple to a dwarf. Here we've got Acer palmatum Scarlet Princess.
Okay guys, we went from one of the largest to one of the smallest. Scarlet Princess, sometimes referred to as Ash's Scarlet Princess, named by Tom and Nancy Ash. This was a witch's broom off the famous cultivar Crimson Queen. Now, this one is excellent for that small area. We've staked these up to get some height, but typically 3 foot, even in 10 years, is this one's growth rate. It's gonna get about 5 feet wide and make a low, compact shape to it. Excellent for that patio, container, or small area garden.
I mean, Crimson Queen's already a very short dwarf Japanese maple, but Scarlet Princess is even more dwarf, more compact, can really give you some really nice cherry reds on this tree. An amazing dwarf red Japanese maple for sure.
As Jody likes to say, it's even dwarfier. All right, guys, let's go on up here and check this out. Next up, we've got some 3 gallons of Acer palmatum Suminagashi.
Man, these things are giants. Suminagashi, I mean, Suminagashi is a type of paper mache. People always talk about this plant and say, man, this is a really cool Japanese paper mache. I want to collect this plant because I do that paper mache. And I'm like, cool. Suminagashi is a red that goes to yellows to oranges in the fall. And it really has an interesting shape. It's upright, but the branches are semi-pendulous.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah, but for a red upright, this plant really stands out from the crowd. It'll get about as tall as it does wide, getting about 12 to 14 feet in 15 years in height and in width.
All right, guys, let's check this out. Here's another one of my favorites, Acer palmatum Kihachijo. These are massive. Kihachijo is a showstopper for that golden yellow fall color. This tree does tend to be very wide in its shape. I'm a huge fan of this one. We have a full breakdown on this one on our website where we walk around one in our display garden. It is amazing for that large Matsumura style leaf, but for that fall golden yellow to orange, Might be my favorite yellow Japanese maple in the fall.
I mean, the yellows to oranges in the fall are outrageous on this. Cool thing too is you can look through seedlings from this, give a lot of really cool, interesting seedlings, and a lot of these are maturing just enough so you're starting to see some seeds starting to develop on these 2-gallon or 3-gallon Kihachicha.
All right, from one fall color to another, what do you think about this over here?
Guys, next we've got Ginkgo biloba Autumn Gold. And Autumn Gold is exactly that. In the autumn, it turns a bright gold. I was about to say in the gold, it turns a bright autumn. But this plant is an amazing upright ginkgo, male selection. That means it doesn't fruit, that means it doesn't stink, but has a really nice upright shape and that bright school bus yellow fall color.
Guys, these don't stink. They're awesome. So check out Autumn Gold. It's an exceptional ginkgo. It is one of the highest growth rate ones for an upright male clone. Found on the Chapel Hill campus. I've seen the original in fall color. It's a showstopper. Lime your ginkgos. You always hear us say that. About 2 to 3 tablespoons around one this size is an excellent way to pick up that growth rate. Love Autumn Gold for everything it brings. It is one of the quintessential ginkgos. So if you're looking for an upright one for your collection, it's a great way to add some height right away. All right, guys, over here we've got Magyar. Check this one out. This is another great male ginkgo selection. Ginkgo biloba Magyar.
Now Magyar has a really nice, more narrow shape, very, very conical in its growth habit. I mean, this is a ginkgo that's excellent for those smaller places out in the landscape and garden. And again, this is another male selection. Gives you that bright school bus yellow fall color without the stink.
Incredible fall colors. Now, ginkgos have very similar fall colors. They can vary a little bit depending on the type, but they're pretty much hitting that peak yellow. Conditions may vary for those, but the colors tend to remain very similar. One thing I always recommend for ginkgo is giving them at least 4 to 5 hours of sunlight. You're gonna have a better growth rate. They can grow in dense, heavy shade. What you end up with is a little bit more of an emerald jade kind of color and a little bit slower growth rate. So if you want them to reach their max potential, at least 4 to 5 hours of sunlight is gonna pick these up and really get them taken off.
And giving a ginkgo line allows them to take up water and fertilizers more efficiently. So that's a great way to do it as well. Guys, coming up, we've got some 2 gallons of Acer palmatum Sharp's Pygmy. This is a slow-growing dwarf selection by Jim Sharp, and it makes it a very nice rounded shape, very popular for bonsai. Some really good sizes on these 2 gallons.
It's a sharp-looking tree.
It is especially sharp.
Guys, these are grafted a little high. I always like to let our bonsai guys know. These are grafted about 5 to 6 inches up. You can air layer off these. You can put these in the container. They make a showstopper in the landscape. Sharp's Pygmy is always popular for bonsai. It's kind of in that Makawa family, I guess. It fits in there as kind of an alternative to Makawa, kind of like Lima Gold. It gives it that small texture, but also that curled, ruffled look to it, giving it something a little bit different amongst the Makawa types. I'm a huge fan of this one. Typically some really nice red to orange fall color.
And then coming up, we got some more.
All right, we got Tsukasa Silhouette, y'all. Tsukasa Silhouette is a classic from Tsukasa Maple Nursery in Japan. One of my favorite places to visit in the entire world. Yanada Tanaka is so gracious with his time, and Tim and I love to sit down with him and just pick his brain. But Tsukasa Silhouette may be his most famous introduction.
Now, Tsukasa Silhouette stays upright and narrow, and that's where it gets the name of Silhouette, because it has that more narrow shape. It gets the name Tsukasa from Tsukasa Maple, the nursery that it found it. But this is just an amazing plant. It's underrated for its heat tolerance and its fall color. I mean, it's an exceptionally heat tolerant Japanese maple, one of the most heat tolerant, and it has an exceptional bright red fall color. That narrow shape, give it sunlight. If you put it in too much shade, it will grow wider in a more shaded situation.
And guys, don't let my smaller little brother fool you. These are great sizes. These are excellent sized trees in our 2 gallon XLs right now. After you. All right, Geisha Gone Wild. Whoa. Guys, check these out. Great sizes in our Geisha Gone Wilds right now. Again, Tim and I are both pretty big guys. I'm joking, but great sizes. These are staked up. Geisha Gone Wild is one of our favorite pink introductions. We're doing a full podcast right now on the top 50 pinks. You'll have to tune in to see where Geisha Gone Wild falls. Very similar to Shiraz. They're a reoccurring sport off of Geisha with very similar traits. Geisha Gone Wild, one of our most popular trees we do.
Yeah, it is. I mean, it's just that super, super bright pink out in the landscape and garden. The pink red in the spring is a pink from a distance. And then you walk up, you can see the variegation on it. Again, that pink red in the fall. Favorite time of the season, though, is that midsummer colors where you get some of that green in there with the cream and the pink together. I mean, an outstanding pink selection of a Japanese maple.
What would you like to pair of pink? Don't say it. Don't say it. All right, check these out, guys. We've got Ginkgo biloba Saratoga.
Guys, Saratoga. Toga. Saratoga was found and introduced by the Saratoga Research Station in Henderson, California. And this thing is really cool because what it does is it has a flat shape to the leaf that is a little bit serrated, a little bit rounded, but it doesn't have that division like you typically think of a ginkgo leaf. It's more of that true maidenhair foliage like you think of a maidenhair fern.
Yeah, great tree here, awesome plant, another upright male. This one does tend to have a denser, fuller canopy, so you tend to not see into the tree as much as Autumn Gold and Magyar, which I like. And that rounded canopy really makes a great palette for that fall color. Again, an exceptional male ginkgo for intense fall color, and a great one to be growing. These are some excellent sizes already too, so if you're looking for a good starter, our 2-gallon Saratogas are already massive. All right, what do I got going on behind me back
Fairmont.
here? Ginkgo biloba Fairmont, guys.
Guys, we've been to Fairmont Park in Pennsylvania, and it's where Tiny Tim was found, it's where Mini Mondo was found, and we also know that this narrow ginkgo was selected there at Fairmont Park. And this has a very narrow, more columnar shape, and is a very unique and a little more rare ginkgo than some of the others.
Yeah, again, excellent sizes. These are probably, well over 6 foot in the ground right now. Fairmont being a little bit more, columnar than those other selections we'll be looking at. So a lot of that branching on this one is going to be very upright and very tight, giving it a more columnar, overall narrow approach to it. Excellent one to be growing the landscape. Again, excellent golden yellow fall colors on that ginkgo as well.
Guys, over here we've got some nice 2-gallon Acer japonicum vitifolium.
Guys, vitifolium, some of the biggest leaf japonicums you'll see. Some of the biggest leaf Japanese maples you'll see anywhere are on the Acer japonicums, and vitifolium, it brings it. This has that huge foliage. It makes a great palette for that fall color, which can be yellows, reds, and oranges all at the same time. Now give this one some late day shade. You'll get even bigger foliage on it.
Yeah, this is one of the biggest foliage Acer japonicum full moon Japanese maples that's out there. It's a classic, and it's still one of the best that's out there today. I mean, this has a very nice rounded shape, where some of the other ones that are out there are a little more elongated, and just a real awesome big leafed Acer japonicum.
All right, next up, it's not my salt and pepper colored hair. We got the salt and pepper maple, Acer palmatum Okushimo.
Guys, Okushimo, the leaves curl upward, and it's really unique and very different. It gives a different feel, a different texture. But this plant is one of the better orange fall colors. I mean, you can really get some bold oranges on this one in the fall. And it's an excellent, very unique, and not often seen in the nursery trade tree.
Guys, you got to check this foliage out. Get up close on this. It's got really interesting curled foliage to it. It's so unique. A lot of people see this and think it needs water, but it doesn't. This is the unique habit of that. I mentioned this with a lot of these styles, but that curling foliage almost gives it a variegated-like look. So it almost looks like a variegated plant because of that curling going on. Great sizes in these. Brian and I, we saw one of these at Maple Walk last fall. Thing was in peak fall colors, so check that video out. If you want to see how spectacular Okushimo can be, I think Tom said it was one of his very favorite trees in the entire collection. Great starter sizes here too on Okushimo.
I know Brian, before we listed it, he said, Tim, save me an Okushimo.
Right.
So I made sure I did whenever we were listening.
All right, what else we got going on in here?
Oh, right up here, these are some killer sizes of Ginkgo biloba Munchkin.
Woo!
Munchkin is a true little dwarf, really small foliage selection, sometimes known as Chris's dwarf, and a very small growing, slow growing, and small leaf selection of a ginkgo.
Yeah, some of the foliage on this can just get really minuscule. It's a fun plant though. It looks great in the landscape or in the container garden. I think it's a really popular one for bonsai because of that tiny overall foliage. It gives you everything you like about the big ginkgos, but in a real small package. All right, let's get some red in there. What's going on here?
Guys, we got Azuma murasaki. Azuma murasaki gives you some of this unique red colors, can give you some really nice orange, pink new growth during the summer, and really some good orange fall colors as well.
We sell out of this one in one, so I know these XL2s are going to be popular. Azuma murasaki is an older Japanese cultivar. I love it for its kind of bronzing. It gets midsummer. It gets some weird shades in it. I think it really gives it an interesting palette, especially in a large Japanese maple collection. I think it's a tree that'll really catch your interest for that summer color, but a great tree to be growing.
Yeah, awesome. A really cool plant, not that often seen in the nursery trade anymore as well.
All right, guys, here's another big leaf japonicum. We've got Woods number 2.
Also known as Ed Woods. Ed Woods selected Beniotaki. He selected Al Jatan as well. And people often said, well, if this is woods number 2, what's woods number 1? Well, that became Algiton.
Yeah. So I always laugh when people's last names are like Woods and then they get into trees, like Ver Trees is into trees. I've been up to talk at presentations before and people said, we're going to bring out Matt Maple. And I was like, hey guys, the marketing is working here on Mr. Maple if you think my last name is Maple. Anyway, I always get a kick out of that. Ed Woods introduced some amazing plants, whether it's Biniotaki, Redwood by Ed Wood, or Woods number 2. Classic plant here. Large leaf japonicum. Love that foliage. Great fall colors. Just like the Vitifolium, if you give this one some shade, you can get even larger foliage. Separating these two, I would say it's a little bit more divided leaf, but you can get some massive sizes on the foliage on this one.
And on this one too, you may see the leaf is a little more elongated than Vitifolium with that heavily divisions of the leaf, but some awesome sizes on these large Acer japonicums.
Oh wait, another Ginkgo?
Ginkgo biloba, Jade Butterflies.
Jade Butterflies is a great mid-sized ginkgo. So this is another classic male. Tends to have a denser, fuller form to it. Love this one for its mid-size approach. Great in that 10 to 12 foot kind of range, and really classic for the overall leaf shape. Now it gets the name because the leaf looks like a perfect little butterfly going on there. So especially as it matures, that older foliage is a perfect butterfly shape.
Now the fall color is that bright school bus yellow you come to love with the ginkgo trees. Ginkgos are some amazing plants that are salt tolerant, heat tolerant, pollution tolerant, drought tolerant. Very easy to grow, zones 3 through 9. So an awesome plant to grow out in the landscape and pretty easy for most people to grow.
Seems like a winner. All right, last but certainly not least here, let's get out Acer sieboldianum Kumoi nishiki.
Guys, we've got a variegated Acer sieboldianum. Kumoi nishiki is an amazing selection with a lot of white variegation. Fall colors can range from yellows to pinks to oranges, and it's just an amazing tree. When this tree goes into fall color, the variegation is still very profound. It's very out there, and it grabs you, and you're like, wow, because you can really see the variegation because there's so much of it. A lot of times, some of the variegated plants, you don't see as much of the variegation when the fall color hits. Not the case with Kumoi nishiki.
The spring color ranges from amazing to more amazing. This one is so much fun, guys. I'm a huge fan of it. It really brings it, especially for that Acer sieboldianum. It's one of the most diverse types of that siebold maple you can ever see. I think it's really, probably one of the first of that variegated full moon styles that you can see that much intensity going on. And they always sell out in one, so our big 2 gallons are going to be popular. We wanted to get these on camera for you guys. These are just a few things in our 2-gallon XL house. Let us know in the comment section if you like our walkthrough Wednesdays and you'd like to see more of these.
So guys, that like button, hit it, smash it. We'd really appreciate it. Share this video with your friends and comment in the comment section. It helps more people see our videos.
Thanks so much.
Take care.
God bless.
And have a great day.